I'm not actually from the tri-state area, so I'm not from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I'm actually born and raised in Maryland and then migrated my way up north. But the really cool thing about Maryland is it's extremely diverse. I mean, like so diverse that my best friend growing up, their family were farmers. And every single year they would do this really cool thing during Halloween. They turned the whole farm into this whole Halloween party for the whole town. I'm talking hundreds of people would come. You know, they turn the house into this haunted house. So you have the people with the fake chainsaws. They make the mazes. They have this tractor they turn into a hayride. And me and my friend, boys being boys, we would jump on and off the tractor, playing tag, etc. And I remember the last time I jumped off the tractor, I jumped, and then all of a sudden, my cape got hooked onto the back of the tractor, hit the back of my head on the tractor, got drugged for about 5 yards, and then everything just started to go dark. Shortly after, I was helivaced to Children's Hospital in Maryland, in which case the doctor came out and told my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wallace, we have an issue. You see, when your son hit his back of the head on the tractor, not only did he suffer a severe skull fracture, but the impact caused his brain to shift, slammed up against the side of his head, and now it's swelling to the point that by the end of the night, it's not even going to be able to fit in his own head. If we do not put him into a drug-induced coma, rip open his skull to relieve the pressure, he dies tonight. So my parents are like, all right, this is easy. Like, put him down, save my boy, and let's get on out. Well, doctor said, I think you misunderstood me when I said we have a problem. You see, the trauma to his brain is so severe, and he is so young that if we put him into a coma, there's a 1% chance he wakes up. And if he does, there's an even lesser chance that he'll even be a functional member of society. So I'm standing before you today, so we all know how the story goes. I think the only thing they got right is maybe I'm functional, maybe I'm not. I'm not necessarily normal, but that's for my friends to debate. But the cool thing about that story and why I'm sharing it with you is because along that week-long process of me being literally lifeless, I learned what it took to become a world champion. When you're laying in a hospital bed, virtually lifeless, and the only thing that you need to do is figure out a way to live, your focus becomes so crystal clear. It's almost like this animalistic instinct that all you have to do is live. I wasn't worried about the homework assignment that my teacher gave me. I wasn't worried about the chores that for sure I forgot to do before we left that my mom was really going to be on my rear end about. All I wanted to do was live. And so what I find is most of the time, the reason why people don't get to where they want to be from where they are right now is because their focus is not where their end destination is. So often, we sacrifice what we want most for what we want right now. And in that, we forget that every single time we divert our focus somewhere else, it's literally depriving our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations, our potential from the oxygen that it needs to actually live and survive. As I was laying on that bed, virtually lifeless, there was nothing else on my mind but wanting to live. But also while I was training to fly to South Africa to compete against 120 different nations in one place, the one mantra that came into my head is every single day I have to recommit to my commitments. I can't hang on the balance of what I did yesterday. Every single day is its own process, its own win, its own thing that we have to do in order to get to the end destination. My parents, after I woke up, weeks later, they told me this story about my little sister. Her name's Sierra. She's like the smartest person in the world. I'm the dumb one of the family. I just went to school for finance and lifted weights, and she's like a microbiology major in the whole 9 yards. I can't even talk to her anymore. But that's besides the point. I digress. Right? The thing is, about 4 days, 3 or 4 days after they put me into a coma, they finally let my sister Sierra, that's her name, come into the hospital room and see her big brother for what the doctors thought were the last time. And she was so smart. I'm talking this kid at 4 years old was like watching National Geographic. She like knew everything. She knew all the plans. Like it was absurd. And so they're explaining to her what's going on. He said, hey, Sierra, this is how he's breathing. This is what's monitoring his heart. This is how he goes to the bathroom because he can't move. This is how we feed him because he can't feed himself. And they asked, hey, Sierra, do you have any questions? She says, yeah, can I see his legs? Doctor's like, okay, that's a very odd request for everything that's going on, but sure, let me lift up the blanket and show her your legs. And anything else? And my little sister at like 4 or 5 years old with conviction in her heart and ice in her veins said, no, my big brother's going to be okay. At this point in the time, the doctor's like, this little girl truly does not understand the severity of the situation, so I'm going to have to lay her down lightly. Sierra, I don't think you truly understand what's going on. And she said, no, I understand everything that you said. You see, what my sister was trying to tell the doctor, although she didn't have the words to actually convey it, was that I understand that you have been studying medicine for 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 years of your life, but I have been watching my big brother since the day I was born. I have been studying him since birth, and one thing that I know more than the sun will rise tomorrow, he'd rather die than lose. So what makes you think when the actual consequence of losing is death, that he's going to lose now? As long as my big brother is in one piece, he has all he needs in order to survive. You see, if you believe that God made us all equal, then if an 8-year-old helpless little boy can quite literally get in a fight for his life with Lucifer, come out of the other end, become one of the best financial advisors in a nationwide company, and quite literally one of the strongest men in the world, then you as grown adults must also believe that you have everything within you to become everything that you want to be if you only learn to say no to the things that are derailing your focus from where you want to be, fully commit to your process, and have undying belief. Thank you so much.